First off, with the news today, can you just tell us the purpose of this announcement?
Yeah, I mean, always difficult. Pete's done a lot for this club, both as a player and on our front office. But we had said, we're evaluating our soccer operations, and certainly, again, don't rest this at the feet of one person. We all have to look at ourselves and take responsibility. But we are going to hire a new lead for our soccer operations. And I think that is the big thing to come out of this, to take away from this, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in short order.
Do you expect more changes in the front office?
That's going to be for someone to come in and evaluate. We have some good people. I think the biggest thing that it needs structure and organization, and clearly identifiable both internally and externally. So I wouldn't expect anything coming quickly other than the news of someone being hired.
Would you expect whoever is head coach, whether it's Dominic or you bring someone in new, would also take on a GM role?
No, I mean we've talked about that, and we're looking for the right people. I think what you're seeing in our league and in other leagues is assembling a group of talented people to tackle this as a team. And we need to do that. It's not just the GM or coach. It extends through our scouting and certainly beyond with development and things like that. So we have a number of things to do, and it starts with a leader in those areas.
Bringing in the new person is, still talking to Bruce, Todd Donovan, or those names that are in that circle that you're talking to?
I mean, sorry, what was the question?
You talked about bringing in another person over Pete, because Pete's gone, bringing in more.
Yeah, okay, I got it. I mean, we're not going to discuss names publicly. We've never done that, but yeah, we are going to bring in a new person to lead the soccer operations of our club.
When, any timeline on that?
I mean, I don't like to put a timeline on because then you got to stick to it, but we have a lot of things to do in the off season that need to get started fairly quickly, so I wouldn't expect it to take too long.
So you wouldn't expect a coaching candidate to hold both positions?
Again, we're not going to lock ourselves into anything, but what I would say is it needs a group of talented people and not just one person. I think you're seeing that across sports and certainly in our league, that we have to build our club. And we have to structure our club in the right way to have success both in 2019 and beyond.
How would you prioritize what needs to be done during the off-season?
Priority for me is to hire a leader for our soccer operations. That is first step, and then we'll go on from there. Obviously, we need a coach for next year, so that I would put that as priority 1B. But first things first, and then we'll continue to move through it. We have to take a look, and that will be up to that person and the group of people to take a look at some of the progress we made this year, and certainly some of the holes and the further progress that we know that we need to make.
Do you see the soccer operations person being a general manager? Do you see a general manager? Do you see a coach? Or those three different positions?
Sorry, say that again.
So you have the overall leader of the soccer operations, right? You see that person as a general manager as well? Are you also looking at hiring a general manager?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that person would be a general manager. I mean, titles, there are a bunch of titles, but it will be one lead person.
How much turnover do you expect within the squad?
That's going to be up for someone to come in and evaluate. We know we have some very good pieces that did some good things this year, but the team needs a little bit more structure and balance, and that will be up to the new coach, the new general manager to evaluate and to make those decisions as we head into 2019.
Chris,
What do you expect?
last offseason you made some moves, but not anything too dramatic. It was kind of an idea of maybe stay the course, not put words in your mouth, but that you had pieces in place.
Sure.
Is this an admission that maybe that didn't work out and you do need to start over again?
I don't know if it's start over again, but I think what it is since Bruce left, we were a club that was driven by one person on the soccer side for so long. And when we had to make changes quickly, I think we got the structure right, but we didn't get everything right. So it is we're going to structure our club right for the short term and the long term so that we can succeed, and the boxes have to be right, and then we have to go out and get the right people.
What do you look at with Ibra? Obviously, there's a lot of rumors about potential return to Europe. What is the plans for him for 2019?
I mean, our plans is to have Zlatan back with the club. What he did this year is certainly well documented, both from the impact that he had on our team. I think 22 goals and 10 assists. That is one thing, but I'm sure he will relay this to you as well. He wants to win, and we want to win with him. And so our intention is to bring him back and have him part of our club for 2019.
What do you need to do to make that happen?
We're having conversations. I know that he has certain things that he wants, and as a club, he's a priority for us to keep him here.
One of those things might be.
Would he have to be a designated player? Would he have to have a higher salary?
That's a possibility. Again, we're just in initial conversations with the season just ended a week, but we've had very good conversations with him and continue to progress in those, and hopefully we come to a resolution that's good for Zlatan and for the club.
To do so, you'd have to lose a DP. Could you see using a buyout on Gio?
We're not going to comment on any individual players. Again, it will be up for someone else to come in and evaluate what is the best for both individual players and for the team and the club as a whole.
You'd like to see Gio back?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that. It really is going to take an evaluation of the team with a general manager and a coach to see what this team needs so that we can be successful going into 2019.
When Zlatan signed, he signed for a 2-year contract. Does he have a contractual out built in there somewhere?
No, he's got a contract for next year.
So, if it came down to it, could the Galaxy hold his feet to the fire and say you have a contract?
We're a club that is about people, and he's got a contract for 2019, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Chris, what about Ashley Cole? You talked about bringing him back next year?
We're going to have, our group is going to have individual player meetings today and get an idea on where players are at. Ashley, I don't have to tell you guys, has had an amazing career. He had a good season too. But in saying that, he's 37 years old, so it's a conversation between Ashley and the club to see what he wants and what's best for us heading into 2019.
Where is the team at present with the coaching search? You mentioned it as 1B. Have you had conversations yet?
Yeah, we've had numerous conversations with coaching candidates. But at this point, we have to allow the lead person to come in and take that over, because I believe very strongly that it is the most important partnership, and the head coach is going to be the person most often in front of you, but it has to be a partnership to build the club. And so when we get that person hired, they have a good understanding of all the people we've talked to. That was part of our interview process, and they'll take that over.
How would you assess what Dominic Kinnear did as head coach?
Very good. He came in and he structured the group. I think you saw that, we had a good team organization. We had a good team spirit as well, and the guys really battled and fought. I give them a tremendous amount of credit. One half didn't allow us to get there, but as a club, and I just said this to the guys in there, one half, yeah, we get in the playoffs. Could the team have won? Possibly, but we have to look at the whole season. So we have to go back and evaluate why we ended up in that position, because what we saw in the last, 5 games of the season, if you saw that over the course of the year, maybe. But we're not in there's 34 games in our season, and we're not in the business to deal with maybes.
If you look at the season, and if you look at the previous season, both of them you had injury crises. And a lot of muscle injuries. So is there a look at how you guys deal with with how the use of players and all that?
Of course. We have to look at everything to get better. And again, we talk about sports in general in this country, and the evaluation is not just on the coaching side, the player side. It's medical, it's data, it's sports science, it's all of these things that come together, and that evaluation is underway, because we had some muscle injuries that kept reoccurring, and we have to figure out how to deal with those, because in our league, you need your most important players to play consistently. You see it whether it's us or you see even with Toronto this year, and when your most important players are not playing, it definitely hurts the team.
So is Dom really being considered to stay as a coach, or is
Yes.
going to be totally up to the new head of soccer operations?
It is, but the name that we've considered, the name that we've said publicly is Dominic. But again, someone is going to come in, and there has to be a relationship there, and they're going to have to make the decision with the support of me and the support of ownership.
Chris, a couple of things. When did you make the decision, or when did Pete find out about this? And also, I've heard from a couple people in the front office that there was actually, it looked like Pete was going to be pushed out during the summer, and that group of people rallied to his defense and said, let's at least finish the season out. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I don't know where you get your information from. I had a conversation with Pete this weekend. Again, he's been part of this club a long time and incredibly professional in the way that that he dealt with that, and we won't go into the timing of our decision, but as we've talked about evaluating us from a structure side, from a soccer operations side, and looking at bringing in a new leader, we felt that it was one change we need to make to give the new person a fresh start to come in.
So there was no talk of any of this during the season?
No. Yeah.
You mentioned a lot about having this other person and having support. Where does this fit, yourself in the soccer operations department?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it needs leadership. I don't believe that one person solves everything. It needs a team, and you mentioned sports science, you mentioned scouting, you mentioned coaching, certainly a general manager to structure the club, but it needs a lot. An academy director, I mean, it needs a lot to build a modern club, and that's our ambition. Our ambition is to be the best and to structure our club in the right way and fill it with the right people, give it the right resources to be able to succeed, and then support those people. So that's the direction that we're going to take for 2019 and beyond.
With no timeline, is it necessary to have whoever's head of soccer ops, whoever's your head coach, in place by the time that you have to determine whose options you're picking up?
Yeah, I don't want to say there's
expansion draft, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I don't want to say there's no timeline. We have an internal timeline. I'm just not going to tell you guys. But we have a timeline because there are decisions that need to be made, and certainly we don't want to make those decisions without the people that are going to be in charge heading into next year. So good point, and our intention is to move through this as quickly as it can, but still understanding we need to make the right decisions.
And the decisions on most of that is right after MLS Cup, right? In terms of who you're keeping.
I don't know the exact dates. I believe that right after MLS
Monday
Cup. Yeah.
Afterwards. It's like
Something more general here. Why do you think that clubs and players are less open now to go on loan during the off season? It doesn't happen anymore as it used to happen.
You mean in our league?
In general, yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we have a long season, and to go throughout that season that ends up being 11 months and then go on loan and then come back into a preseason, that cycle of continuing can be a real challenge for players. And as we've expanded our league season, I don't know that players feel the need to do that anymore.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.